Hello and welcome to this edition of Time with Hime. I am joined by our superintendent, Mr. Hime. How are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Yay, we're in our 5th week of school, working on our 6th.
Wow, it's almost October.
I can't believe that. We've got some great things to talk about today, and we're going to do it first with our COVID summary. So let's get started.
You know, we bring this up every week. It's getting old. We'd like for it to go away, the COVID, and virtual school to be a choice of for educational purpose, not for health purposes as we move forward. But, you know, district-wide, we still feel really good about how our students are wearing masks and how we're practicing social distancing. And, you know, we got the sanitizers. So our COVID numbers have been very controllable, especially when you look at what others going on in other schools across the state. So we're very excited about how our people are handling that, because obviously how those are directly correlated to the habits and the protection and how your population is social distancing. So we feel really good about that and the safety. We're still having limited cases, as everyone is, and therefore, you know, the worst thing is the quarantines. You know, somebody walk by you and the social, you know, and if you don't feel like you were and you get quarantined, I mean, that's statewide getting to be an issue, but again, we feel good about where we're at with that. So hopefully, you know, we continue that. And with flu season coming, you know, we're going to have that double concern. And again, we're just going to continue to preach and encourage our parents, keep your students at home when they don't feel well, because, you know, get them to log on and we won't count them absent, and they can stay up with their work, but please keep them home. You know, we've had some cases, you know, here and there. And, you know, we talk about this all the time. If your student's not well, you know, if you think you need to test them for COVID, that's your choice, not ours. But please, you know, and keep them at home when they don't feel well, so we don't get into these other quarantine situations, and it affects more students than just your own.
And you mentioned testing. If parents do test, we also ask that if they are tested, that they remain home, right?
Until they get the test results back. Because if you feel like they're not well enough to test, if you feel like your child needs to be tested, or adult, that's the same with me. If I feel like I need to go get a test, I need to stay off work and stay away from people. You know, that's just an opinion. I mean, I can't make people do that, but we strongly encourage, if an employee has to have a test, you know, keep yourself quarantined from other employees and students until you get the test result back.
And I just want to remind our families that we do have our COVID summary on our website, and we continue to update that weekly, sometimes every other day as cases come up.
Yeah, and that's under the community section.
Correct.
And it's called the COVID summary, and it's a really good website. Appreciate you and your team for doing that. I think it's very transparent. I mean, I think sometimes people worry about our transparency, but there's so much data out there now. Sometimes it's just knowing where to find it. And so, you know, we try to help you. And if you need help, email, and somebody will kind of guide you to where you can find some of that data if you need it.
And what have you been hearing about the transition? You know, we have kind of a plateau of where our numbers are, and they're kind of staying stable. But are you seeing a switch of some coming back now that Labor Day has come and gone? And
you know, I would say we do have more coming back to traditional. And I think that based upon our numbers and being under control, it's not overwhelming. It is causing a few, you know, class sizes issues here and there, but nothing major. We're staying on top of it. You know, one of our goals now, if you have a teacher, you get to keep that teacher.
And we're really excited about what the teachers are doing. We've seen some really creative things. I know when I've been out and about, they're preparing birthday envelopes, and we've got our pre-K through 2. They're doing packets and supplemental items.
Mm-hmm. Sending things home, you know, to try to make it as much like school as we can. Pickups, you know, we're allowing to pick up, and what is it, LPS to go? Is that?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. We are working on something brand new for our virtual families. We know a lot of them can't often come up to the site during specific hours, so the team is working on creating an area where families can come get their food and find resources, tech support.
And yes, where we kind of a one-stop, you know, kind of have our own mall or our own one-stop situation on Mondays, maybe every other Monday. Again, it's a work where in October 5th is the target date right now, where there will be a place where you could come and the child nutrition will be there. And as you know, you can pick up, we're in that 10 meals. So as child nutrition, you can pick up 10 meals. And then we have the Feed the Children, and there's a couple programs there that are giving food. And we hope to have that available. So if you qualify for that, if you need food there, you can pick it up. You could also get your tech support if you're having issues with your devices. Somebody will be there. If you need a new device, somebody will be there to help you out.
We'll have curriculum.
have our Native American group there. So if you haven't got JOMN supplies, have our curriculum there to help you if there's questions you have, and just try to make it where once in a while a parent and your student can come up and interact with our adults just to try to help assist that, because we know people don't choose virtual. They choose it for personal reasons, but they still need help and assistance in other ways, just to say we're going to stay home all the way. So this is a way for us maybe to reach out and give you some assistance in the learning, the social emotional learning, the obviously you're missing your breakfast and lunch every day, and every student in the state gets to eat free right now. So, we want to find a way to get that free meal into every student, whether you're virtual or at traditional school.
Well, and that's a great reminder for additional resources that we have on our website, and that's where families can find tutorials. And we've created that through our curriculum team and our ed tech team. So make sure you check out our website under parents and look for the family resources, because it's invaluable right now.
Yeah, and our ed tech team's worked really hard on that. And again, we have the info at lawtonps.org, info at lawtonps.org email. And we do try to answer those questions. I get numerous emails. I try to answer the emails. Sometimes they're short. And, I want to encourage people, if I answer it short, it's not, I get numerous emails. I try to answer them all, or I'll forward them to others in the district to answer them. We don't want to ignore anyone. We understand that people have tough decisions to make right now. And, again, we've encouraged people because we don't always know everything that's going on. We're not aware, there's things that we don't see. And I talk a lot in my leadership groups and in my teams about, if I don't know that fire exists, I can't put it out. So if you see some things that you think should be fixed, let me know. A perfect example is the bleachers on the south side of the Lawton Eisenhower football practice field, soccer practice field, that area. There had been some erosion in there, and we've been working with some companies to look at it, but these recent rains have just totally made that unsafe. Well, no one realized that it had deteriorated so much so fast, and somebody sent me a picture of it. So, we got out there and looked, and we quickly roped it off. We're going to put out bids to get that fixed. It went from something we were working on and going through the process to an emergency that needs to be fixed right now. So please share those things with us, because again, we have a large district. Everybody in our district's dealing with trying to figure out how to serve the virtual kids or traditional kids, our students. We talk about the meals. That's one of the issues that comes up quite a bit. And Daniel, our food service director, he's going to change the menus in October and kind of go away from Sodexo and create menus that he thinks will more fit the needs of our students. We're really excited about that, because we feel like the meals are acceptable, but acceptable is not good enough. We want to improve and get better quantities and better choices for our students.
And you've been out in the schools talking to students about meals. What do they say? And other than thank you for the breakfast breaks, I know.
Yeah, I think the kids like that. A lot of them do. The fact they get to eat, not all of them eat. I think they would like more choices, even with breakfast. In some cases, they'd like to get it, and hopefully we get past the COVID where everyone can go get their own breakfast and choose it, the same as they get to do with lunch. A lot of the kids feel like the portions should be more, but we're putting together a poll everywhere where the students can start voting to see what they like, because we want to fix what the kids like. Although a lot of our adults are eating now because we've created a way for the adults to eat, but it's child nutrition, not adult nutrition. So we want the meals to be choices the students want, because we want our students to eat. Therefore, we have to ask them what they want and not just fix standard menus based upon what somewhere else is doing.
And we have a great partnership with Child Nutrition and Transportation, because we have those meal routes now.
Yes, and that's again for our virtual students, but we have the meal routes for anyone, and that goes into the summer feed. Anyone, I believe it's 0 to 18, can get a free meal. They can get 10 free meals if they find the route on Mondays, which is a great thing, and we encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Now,
we're talking about a little bit of transportation. We also recognized this morning in the meeting the Z-Pass. Do you want to share with our families what that is?
Yeah, the Z-Pass is a new thing, and it's really exciting. Basically, the students will be able to scan on the bus and scan off the bus with their student ID badge. If the parent downloads the app,
app.
Yes, they can use their student's ID number, and it'll track their student. It'll make sure they got on the bus, and if your student's 10 minutes late getting home, you can look on there and you can see if they scanned off where they were supposed to get off. Because, in my career, we've had students hard to find, but a lot of times students get off with a friend, or they decide they want to do something else, or they said they're going to get off one stop early and walk, or they just get distracted. just like we, when I was a kid, I did, and this will help. At least if a student's not where they're supposed to be, we can see where they got on, where they got off, and as you as a parent can track them as they're supposed to be riding the bus to make sure they're where they're supposed to be.
And that's going to start as our pilot program next week at a few of our schools, just to make sure we can work out the bugs.
Yes, and a lot of those things just move so fast. Today I spent a lot of time at Eisenhower Middle School because we're working on how are we going to make that traffic look. It's really it's kind of a bottleneck right now because we haven't got the other old building demolished yet. But the goal is, how are we going to make it look? Are we going to put a red light out front of it there on Gore to get buses in and out? We had the city there working with us. So we are continuously working to improve some things. We don't always get that out, but we want to make sure that, that's why sometimes when you ask about things, it's things we're already working on. And I say, man, we should have mentioned that on the pod because people are wondering about that. So continue to feed it, send the emails, continue to ask questions. And it is amazing to me how much patience and encouragement and how this community's been through all this. 99.9% of the emails, even if they're bringing stuff up, they're very respectful. They're very, they're just trying to inform us. They're just questions, and a lot of them are just FYI. You want to know. Here's some things I see. They're not, they're not rude or they're not being, condescending. They're very encouraging. So I really do appreciate those emails. I mean, it's easy to bring a problem to someone, but you can share information about things you don't like without being rude. And I think people are doing such a great job of that. I've just been so excited in Lawton about how people have worked with us. Again, you turn the news on every night and different cities across the state, and you pick up the paper. They got people all upset about, do they have to do, half the town wants to be in school. Half of it thinks they ought to be virtual. Half of it wants everybody doing this and that. And there's just all these choices, and they're recalling people in the schools, and the pressure on the school personnel. Lawton has been great. I mean, we've got choices for our parents. Our parents have taken those choices. For the most part, they've stayed with their choices. We've had a few change, and that was the ideal of being flexible. But, again, to our teachers, because it was easy for me to tell our parents and our students that we're going to be flexible. But it's not me that had to be flexible. It's our teachers and administrators and staff. And, hats off to our teachers, administrators, and staff because they're flexible.
And I want to continue on that thread of teachers and the great work that they're doing. Friday, we did something really special with Mrs. Overby and Ms. Hanson. What do you say?
Yeah, we announced our Teacher of the Year. Hey, I got to give Ms. Hatch and her team and you and your team for putting that together. That was pretty awesome out there on the football field. Nice crowd announcing it. We had, people talking about, we had students there. A lot of times the students haven't seen when we announced the Teacher of the Year. They don't really see that. So it was something I've had people come to me and say, maybe we should do that all the time in front of that crowd. That's where because it was pretty, were lined up out there, and you had all the teachers, and no one really knew. And so.
And we streamed it. We had
streamed it. So it was on TV, on the radio. So it was very exciting. And it was exciting for me. Obviously, I wasn't here last year, but to be around that great group of educators, Dr. Thomas and Dr. Baden came back. And, we all appreciate the great job they did last year in the interim of that transition between the old superintendent and myself. And they did a super job, and we were able to honor them one last time for the great work and they did for Lawton Public Schools. So it was a great night.
And we have a webpage dedicated to our 2020 celebration on our website as well. And it's called exactly that, the 2020 celebration. So you can go see all of our honorees and check out some photos from that evening.
Great pictures. I don't know who took those pictures, but those pictures are awesome. Good, clean cut. I mean, I've heard a lot of people brag about that photographer. So I got to put hats off. They were awesome pictures.
Secret. No.
Yeah, no, we don't. But unknown.
Let's not tell who it is.
Hey, we'll just put under their staff.
That's right. We got to keep that.
Staff photos.
That's right. Now, we talk about continued celebrations. We did something really exciting at our last board meeting with our drawing.
Oh, yes, we drew again. And it's you don't want to cheer for a side, but since we started this, it seems like I've started getting calls and emails about Lincoln Elementary. and it was drawn out. It was so exciting for them. And look, I want everybody to get drawn out. And this is our 4th one.
Correct.
We've got Ridgecrest. People love it. It's almost finished. We got Woodland Hills. They're fixing to roll into it hard. Pioneer Park, the designs.
They did something really cool at Pioneer Park too.
Yes. And now the Lincoln has one, and and one thing we're talking about in doing this is making sure we're improving the safety of the schools. So we're a lot of fencing to limit access to the school and help control the drop off and pick up, improve the parking lots and some of those things. So really an exciting time, and those things are moving. It's always when you're new to a district and you learn the nuances and how things work, it's just a little bit too slow sometimes. But really, we've had this conversation. Then you stop and talk about we're building a new middle school. We got it done. We're finishing up a safe room. We've done the parking lot at the bus barn, what we're doing at Ridgecrest, and you start going through the list.
We have roofs and
HVACs and all the things we're doing, and it's really not slow. We're really moving really fast on a lot of this stuff, and we want to continue to do that because my ultimate goal is in the next 20 months or so, we look up and all of our schools have had a makeover and we've upgraded because we want to improve the cosmetics of everything.
We have a lot of wonderful things going on. Is there something that I have not brought up and you want to share with our families?
I talk about with football, it's been fun. Hats off to Lawton. I'm excited as a no football coach, because most of the games have been inner city because I've kind of watched them on TV. And when I've gone, you got to be neutral. Hey, now when I go to a football game, everybody's got me hats and shirts. I get to wear one and I get to have a team I can cheer for.
You have many teams.
So now I know I got 3 teams, but now when I go to a game, I'll just have one team playing. So I can actually be a fan now, not a neutral observer.
Right.
It's kind of hard as an old coach to be a neutral observer. So now when I'm at a game, I get to be a fan. And I've been very impressed with the young men and the young ladies I've seen at our athletic events. I love that you can watch them on TV. Be sure and understand that out there. I know with this, but you can tune in. You can get on our school website, go to
OSN.
Go to athletics off the website and go to OSN and click on any one of the 3 high schools. And there's a lot of events that they stream for us. And you can watch them live. The production, I've watched all 3 of the high school football teams on there. So this year, they're very good productions. And it's as good as it's like watching it on, just a regular college football game on TV. And you can watch our young ladies and young men in different events perform. And so you can support them that way if you don't feel comfortable being at the game. So
we have phenomenal students.
Oh, it's unreal. I just, just love it. It's just, you come to a new place and you get it, and it's just getting to learn them. And probably the struggles I had last year when we shut down in March is, I was in transition in one thing because I really didn't have any duties assigned. I was going to be out the one bothering everybody. I was going to be watching games and bothering everybody and in the schools and getting to meet some of the students. So it's kind of been slow and we've been busy, but I have been in a lot of the schools, and I'll try to continue to go and just interact with everyone because, again, we're all in this together, and I say it forever. My success is based upon the success of the teachers, staff, and principals. No matter what I do, if they're doing a great job, I look good. No matter what I do, if they're not working hard, it looks like I'm not. And right now, those guys are working hard and doing a great job. And, like I said, we got credit at State Department last week for our virtual night. I mean, like I said, I haven't been up one night from 3 to 9 working with virtual people, but we got a lot of teachers and principals and admin and counselors that have, and hats off to them for working with our students, at night.
Everybody's doing an amazing job.
Yes, awesome.
Okay. Mr. Hime, is there anything before we go? We don't want to leave anything out in celebrations, or we can keep a few
just
things.
Continue to share things with us because, like I said, we don't get it all, but just continue to share things with us, and we appreciate you because we're all working together, and I think right now we got this thing going the way we want it, and there's a lot of people envying how well it's going at Lawton right now, so let's keep it.
So thank you to our families, our staff members, our administrators, and everybody that supports us. If you have any other questions and you want to follow us, our email is info@lawtonps.org, and of course our social media and YouTube pages. Until next time, Mr. Hime, we're so thankful for you guys to join us. We will see you next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye.